This episode of Roadkill Garage is going to have a very international flair because, yeah, we are back with our discovery of a 1966 International Harvester 1100 short bed pickup truck. We found this on a previous episode while road tripping our 40 Ford around some junkyards, and we didn't find anything in the yards that we had to have, but we got a tip on this truck that needed a rescue and came to find it in this garage. This thing has been sitting for 20 years. Our job's to make it run.
Well, I just want to explain something to you, Freiburger.
I'm ready.
Well, I'm a farm boy, right? And we come in two colors, red and green.
Uh-oh, I've seen a lot of green on your property, but wait, I've also seen some red.
I bleed red, bro, because I've got the International Farmall 686, the 766, and the 1066, and I put some mileage and hours on those beasts. International red through and through right here, and this is red and it's an international.
Wow, but don't you have a deer parked right in front?
No, that's my brother's tractor.
Oh, I didn't know.
I just borrowed that when all my internationals were broken. So
I get it. All right, well, I didn't know we had an international man on our hands. I knew you were an international man of mystery and intrigue.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a couple of different levels of internationalism here.
I guess so.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'm like Mr. Like, hey, did you know in 1972 this was invented by Bob International and all that garbage? Yeah. Not me this time. I've got no idea what's happening with this truck. So I think we will go to my basic, which is always what? It's the first thing we do on something like this.
Air up the tire.
No, make it run because nothing else matters if the engine doesn't run.
Wash the windshield.
No, make it run.
Oh, let's make it run. That's a good start.
How do you even open it?
Freiburger.
You pull it towards?
No. That's the safety catch.
There, now pull that up.
There's a safety catch. Oh. Oh, 6 in a row can't go. Let's put a battery in it, turn the key.
Can we go a little deeper? How about, I think, pull all the spark plugs out of it, change the oil, spin it with the plugs out to try and get some oil pressure, and see if it has spark. And then we'll hook up fuel and start to try and make it fire.
Man, it's like you've done this before, David.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
I like this truck. It's just super cool. I don't want to touch it because it's got that barn find dust perfection going on. And I'm gonna lean on it and get dusty. Ooh, look, the plug wires are already marked. They're marked with aluminum foil.
I've never seen aluminum foil used for that purpose.
That's genius.
Yeah.
Why does this say 3?
That's 4. Maybe someone switched the spark plug wires around as like an IQ test for an auto mechanic.
It's possible. All right, well, we're gonna have to investigate the firing order first thing.
You know what? On a lot of these, the firing order is cast into the intake manifold. It says firing order right there.
What does it say?
It says 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4.
2, 4. So it is correct, but mislabeled. More disturbing is the fact that the distributor is completely loose in the block.
Why would that be, David?
This is an uh-oh.
Oh, no.
This is the kind where it's an external vacuum advance. The vacuum advance rotates the whole distributor.
Oh, yeah, you're right, David.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before. You just called that out as though it's a very familiar mechanical device.
I told you I know nothing about this truck. So these are wired correctly, labeled incorrectly. Let me get a pen, I'll just relabel them. Steve, I've made a deduction.
What?
There's a sticker on the valve cover that advises me to the valve lash. That means it's a solid camshaft.
Oh, you don't have to Google it?
No. It says right here, 26 intake and exhaust, engine hot and idling.
Wow, that's a lot of lash.
That's a lot. All right, let's pull spark plugs. Woof. Spark plugs always tell a story, and this is a story of oily deposits. They're all very chunky and black. It's not horrible, horrible, just baseline horrible. Fortunately, since we were able to buy this truck months ago, we were able to order many of the parts that we needed, including a new set of tires. So I'm gonna pull all the wheels and tires off too.
So it looks like it only had about 6 or 8 ounces of motor oil in there. It was brand new and clean, so that's kind of suspicious. So the plot thickens. More mystery.
Weird. That is a 12-inch drum, and it's like 1 3/4 wide. Funky stuff. First thing I'm noticing here is that it has two-piece axle shafts. That means that the hub that the wheel actually bolts to is a separate manufactured item from the axle shaft, which is probably tapered. And the rear end seems to be some Hotchkiss drive unit. It's like 3/4 ton looking beef in the center section and then half-ton bolt pattern. We're sort of discovering secrets of this thing as we go. First of all, I noticed this must be the original radiator because it has a very cool IH logo stamped on it right here. And then we also have a folder that includes the line setting ticket. I guess this is like the build sheet for the truck that shows all the different components that needed to be compiled on it, options or something like that. It was shipped to International Harvester Corp., Monterey Street, Fresno, California. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm also mid-text with Jeff from IH Parts America, and he sent me this photo that shows me that there is a pad on the side of the block here that's gonna tell me what the engine is. So we're gonna discover that right now. This engine is a BG241. I have no idea what that means, but that's what it is. Next, oil's going in the crankcase. Notice we're using some oil that has a zinc additive in it because this thing is going to be an old flat type of camshaft, and hopefully it's not already flattened itself out.
That'd be fine.
Wouldn't you think an International would want like 10 gallons of oil? But the pan doesn't look that big. Let me see what the stick says. Right there.
Well, that takes a lot of oil. The International, you know, as you might expect, it has a high capacity for oil.
I would think so. Let it run down for a second. Steve, you didn't put the drain plug back in.
I put it in.
Really? Then
Yeah.
what's all this oil pouring directly on the ground from?
I don't know.
Ah! The oil pan is not bolted to this thing. Oh, it's dumping out the valve cover. Ah! That just made a huge mess.
That's a disaster.
Just now we were pouring oil in the thing, and we essentially poured a gallon of oil directly on this guy's floor. And it looks like there is no valve cover gasket, or the valve cover gasket's leaking so badly. I mean, it dumped hardcore.
I think someone must have pulled this off at one point and then wrecked the gasket and then just slapped it back on and put the for sale sign on it.
It's starting to scare me about, like, why was this parked? We don't really even know. All right, will the valve cover come off now? And this is an oil bath. Don't pull it off and throw oil everywhere because I want to keep this floor dry.
You're just mansplaining me. I know it's an oil bath.
You did?
Of course.
Okay. Now, will it clear the windshield wiper motor?
No. Get out of there. Ah.
I clearly see the problem.
Yeah, the gasket is not in between the head and the valve cover anymore.
Correct.
That is a literal catastrophe, David.
Uh-huh.
What we have here is an oil bath air filter. Now, you don't see these anymore, but they were quite common from early days of automobiles well into the 60s and perhaps even 70s and later in industrial applications. Now, I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna reveal the actual oil bath. There we go. This one doesn't have the wire mesh, but you can see the air path kind of forces it going this way. Then it has to make an abrupt right-hand turn in there to get down the carburetor, but the dirt particles will go straight down into the oil bath, taking a bath of oil from which the dirt particle will never escape.
Look at that.
Oh, David, you're a mechanical genius.
Look how that just quick releases in there.
Wow.
International's greatest engineered vehicle of all time.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Man, maybe I'm gonna become an International guy. That's all clean. The gasket was not very good. Look at the crazy flimsy rocker arms on this that'll probably last 8 million miles. They're impervious to my criticism. Okay, a tiny bit of oil made it into the pan. I would call it a quart low. That's probably enough that we can spin it with the starter, right?
Yeah.
All right, Steve, put the battery in and spin it with the starter.
Every time you do one of these rescues, it's the same old song and dance. The battery is long expired, so I've got a Duralast from the local auto parts store. This one is a universal type. It's got top post and also the side post, so no matter what you have, you're gonna be able to put this in there and make it work. This truck uses the top post, so I'm gonna connect up the positive to the positive, like that. The negatory to the negative. Now I'm gonna jump in, crank the motor, and check the oil pressure.
Here's the scene. I've got the spark plugs out. I've got lubricant in the holes. I have the valve cover off. We have most of the oil in the crankcase, and we have one rocker arm that looks a little bit bent. We're gonna try and crank the engine, turn it over with the battery. Steve just put our new Duralast in. He's gonna spin it. We're gonna try and get oil pressure. I hope to see oil coming up to the rocker arms. I hope the engine turns freely. We don't even know that it's not locked up. All right, Steve, crank it, and it's gonna shoot WD-40 out the holes.
Contact!
Wow, that spins easy.
Is that spinning?
Yeah.
Put your thumb in the spark plug hole and see if it's got compression.
Okay, go. That's one. That's two, that's three. Yep. All right, I'm watching for oil to come up to the top. We got nothing yet. Stop! You're smoking the battery cable now. Did the gauge read anything?
No.
Yeah, nothing came up top either.
Yeah, that's not coincidental that neither of those two things happened.
No, that's no good. Wow, it spins over smooth though.
Yeah, it sure does.
Well, you want to crank it more until the cable catches on fire?
Ah, yeah, I think that'd be pretty fun.
Go. Oh, you know what? Stop.
Oh.
We failed to disconnect the inlet line to the fuel pump. We do not want to be pumping the old gasoline throughout the whole fuel system. That was a fail. Hopefully it hasn't picked up yet. I'm gonna leave that right there, and we will notice it when it all of a sudden goes and puts varnish all over everything. I might as well check for spark too.
Here goes.
Go. No spark. No oil. No gasoline. This is gonna be more work than I thought it was.
Nothing works on this International, Freiburger.
Okay, it's got 12 volts at the coil. All right, I'm trying to make the points work here. So what I'm gonna do is clean the ignition contact points with a little piece of sandpaper because they do seem pretty crummy. All right, that's probably about as clean as I can get them. Let me get this all back together now and set the gap on the points sort of by eyeball. Try cranking it.
Clear?
Yep. Yep. Huge. Wow, that's killer spark.
That's definitely a win, David.
Yeah.
Give me a... Ow!
Now we could put spark plugs in it and the wires and the distributor cap and everything, obviously, and put some flammable item down the carburetor and make it go vroom.
I like the idea.
Okay.
Ready?
Go. Wow, this thing runs good. Well, we know it runs great. I'm gonna have to rebuild that carburetor. We're gonna have to get fuel to it. This is a really good start though. Tomorrow the valve cover gasket's gonna show up and I'm pretty sure I can get this carburetor rebuilt and make Steve rig a fuel system.
Are you ready to be just elated? The oil pressure gauge, what?
Perfect.
Yep.
This is great. This is it. We've done nothing that a below average mechanic couldn't have handled.
Hey, caramba.
Yeah. You gonna fire it up?
Oh, yeah.
I will juice it.
Ready?
Go. Nice. Keep her running. Go. Doesn't it sound like too much timing?
No, I think it just kind of flooded. I think we should change the starting fluid.
Open it. All right, that's a lot of ping sauce. Go. Yeah.
Keep it running. We've got a fire! Fire! Ah!
That's pretty burny.
Ah!
That's a lot of fire, Steve. Steve, we could actually use a towel if you can, like...
Ah! I need a new microphone now.
All right, start it again. If he had hooked up the choke, we would have this thing like actually running right now.
Just use your hand.
Okay. Why is the carburetor super hot?
I don't know. Why would that happen? It's as though it was a volcano or something.
The carburetor is like super.
I'm gonna try to start it.
It's on fire. Alrighty then, start it.
Okay.
Yep. Cool. It's throwing all sorts of water at me. Radiator cap's leaking everywhere. It's spraying me with antifreeze in my eyeball.
Set the idle.
There's 0 rubber on this radiator cap. We need to fix that. Shut it off. All right, I stopped Steve because this radiator cap was spraying me in the face. This is super common, I find, on these old vehicle rescues. No rubber at all on that deal. Duralast, brand new, with rubber and sealed and goodness. Now I will not take antifreeze to the face anymore. Ready to slam the hood? Wow, look at all the dust.
You know what's crazy is we'll never have to open that hood again on this whole adventure.
I know. Wow, I'm gonna remove the kid graffiti. You got Kilroy over there and it says kill me over here. Ready? That is ready for the road.
Oh yeah.
So I wanna drive it out of here and go to a coin-op car wash.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And that makes it official.
How's the drive?
Actually, it's crawling pretty good.
Yeah. Wow, it looks like a bulbous whale the way the hood is shaped. Look at that.
I love it. Let's see, stopping. Wow, stops great.
Primal, you look right at home in this rig.
I love this thing so far.
Yeah. Just get behind that blue Camaro.
All right, we're off. It's moving under its own power for the first time in 2+ decades.
It seems like it's been on the road all this time. God, the International's pretty good.
So far, so great. 4th gear.
Wow, we're using all the gears.
That's 2,300 RPM. Now I'm decelerating. You know what? It's not smoking either. The engine's not smoking.
No, this engine runs like a top.
This thing is a score. All right, we've done a complete mechanical restoration. Now, the cosmetic makeover. And now we clean. I gotta be really careful of the ignition on this, I think, but I wanna get dust off from under the hood. And this is the moment it goes from being sort of a garage find to actually being back on the road and good. Man, it's super rewarding to be able to rescue something that's this dirty, just making it clean.
Oh my gosh, this thing is gorgeous, Freiburger. It's just beautiful.
It really is.
Wow.
I mean, it's not gonna be as shiny when it dries off, but it has a really, really nice look.
Yeah, the red and white. Wow.
I think it looks cool. I love our International now.
I know, it's treated us really well so far.
It looks so good.